Well, it's 6:15 and I just started walking. I'm gonna road walk just in case I can get a hitch. I have my doubts that I'll be able to get a hitch. So I might just be signing up for a 2-mile road walk when I could instead be not road walking because there's a 2-mile trail. But we're gonna go for it and see what happens. Because we're already planning like 22, 23 miles, and if I have to road walk or even just hike it, it's gonna be 25 miles, and I don't want to do that. So, oh my gosh, I got an immediate hitch. I am so thankful and so happy. Didn't even have time to grab water. That's how quickly I got an hitch. But good thing there's a water source right here, so that's fine. And I knew that. But like literally I didn't even get out of the camp. There was a guy who was getting firewood, and so I convinced him, well, I think he was maybe turning right anyways, but I convinced him to go a little bit farther to give me a ride. So I'm really happy that I didn't have to road walk too much. I'm still so happy. That hitch just bought me so much time. When I was leaving, my friends weren't even out of their tents yet, so they're like at least a half an hour behind me, and that's if they get a hitch. If they don't get a hitch and they have to walk, they could be over an hour behind me, which normally I don't want to be that far ahead of other people, but it gives me a lot of time to take breaks, really take my time, not rush. It can be taxing to be the slowest person in a group, and every slowest person in a group knows what I'm talking about. Just like constantly worrying about not leaving everybody else waiting, getting shorter breaks than other people. For me, if I leave last, they would like have to wait for me for so long. So it's constantly, I leave first, get there last. Sometimes I get to a break first, but either way I'm leaving from the break first as well. And I'm not that slow. Like again, I'm probably an average hiker. I hike 3 miles an hour. It's just that all my friends happen to do 3.5 or even 4 miles per hour. So I'm slow compared to them. So I have extra consideration. So for me, this is a luxury right now. Like I get to mosey instead of constantly feeling like I need to be ahead of them and hurrying up and not taking breaks and stuff like that. The mosquitoes are definitely out and about today. I want to stop for a breakfast break, and anytime I stop for like 2 seconds, I'm immediately swarmed by mosquitoes, which I was expecting in Oregon, but it's still challenging. I have bug spray on, but that's fine for when I'm walking. It doesn't seem to help much when I stop, even if it's in the sun or something. So I don't know. Have to get creative, maybe set up my tent for breakfast. Okay, I am hiding underneath my rainfly. I set up one trekking pole and then ducked underneath my rainfly, and I can see the shadows of all the mosquitoes trying to get in, but I'm safe. I think there's maybe one mosquito in here with me. They're not very smart, so even if there's a gap at the very bottom, they usually can't find it. So now I'm gonna eat breakfast down here. It's gonna be hot later on, but for right now it's fine. Genius! Sorry, the quality is really bad because I don't know, that's hard focusing in the tent. Okay, so that worked amazing, and I'm gonna be using it for the rest of all time. Basically, I just put up one trekking pole and then draped my rainfly over it, and it was completely covering me, gave me a spot to sit, and 0 mosquitoes bothered me. And the trick is just to keep moving just before setting it up so that the mosquitoes don't collect around it. So like the mosquitoes want it to also be attracted to my bag, 'cause it probably like smells like sweat or something. So basically I kind of carried my bag until I could get my rain fly out, which I had at the top. And then I just very quickly, as I'm walking, walked towards a campsite area, flat area, and then I like very quickly draped the rain fly over me, sat down, and then set up the trekking pole from there. And it worked amazing, and the mosquitoes were very mad, and they did not get me at all. So I'm still gonna have breaks in Oregon. And if you wanna have breaks in Oregon, maybe try my method. Even the forest can drastically change from one second to the next. This feels like an enchanted forest. Oh my gosh. The mosquitoes have suddenly become way more aggressive. There's always been 20 to 30 flying around me at all times. And I'm wearing the same amount of sunscreen, not sunscreen, bug spray as before. I just reapplied, but now all of a sudden they're like dive bombing me and actually trying to go for it, when before they're leaving me alone. So I'm getting a little annoyed, and I have some friends that hate mosquitoes even more than me and get bothered by them even more than me. I can just imagine them just going crazy. I mean, honestly, I could totally see how you could like slowly get brought to insanity just by how annoying mosquitoes are. And here's a nice little buggy swamp. Perfect. If you want to buy a house, if you're a mosquito, just live there. Alright, getting some views. There's a lake there in the background, big one. You'd think there'd be no mosquitoes here in the sun, but there are. Alright, we're hitting our first Oregon snow patches so far. Very tiny so far. Alright, 1 mile until my chosen lunch spot. It's a little tricky today because I've been ahead all day since I left before them and got a hitch. So don't actually know if my friends are gonna plan to go for the same spot. It seems like a logical lunch spot, but I don't know for sure that they'll choose it. And I don't know how far behind they are from me yet. But anyways, there's the water source and camping, so it'll be perfect for me to set. I think I'll do my actual tent this time, set my tent up and take a break. So just 1 mile to go. I'm definitely worried because my feet hurt a little. It's not too bad, but like, it feels like every day they hurt a little earlier. And it's definitely because my shoes are just old. But my new shoes are gonna be waiting for me in 100 miles. So like, there's not that much I can do except for keep walking and just hope it doesn't get too bad. But definitely makes me a little bit nervous. But we'll see what happens. There's monsters everywhere trying to get in. It's honestly really hard to videotape. There's probably like 100 mosquitoes, but I'm safe in my tent. Finally, took me a while. Clearly I'm never getting out of here ever again. It was a lot harder to set up my tent than it was to do just the rainfly, but the rainfly just did not breathe, so I needed a tent for actual lunch. But yeah, they all want my blood, and I haven't seen my friends yet, so we'll see if they come join me over here. I'm kind of off trail, so I'll have to notice them and holler at them. It's like the zombie apocalypse. Will my barrier hold? They want my blood and to turn me into a mosquito. Okay, I counted. There's a solid like 60, 70 mosquitoes around this tent at this very second. My friends haven't come yet, and at this rate, good on them. I hope that they took a break earlier because there is a section that there's way less mosquitoes at. There was just nowhere to set up a tent, so I kept going, but honestly, that would have been better. I would have rather dealt with 5 to 10 mosquitoes because right now I'm safe, but then I have to put my tent down again, and then they're all gonna get me again. Are you gonna set up your tent or no?
Oh, I don't know. See how they go.
Wow.
They'll eventually leave me alone if I'm sitting in the sun and I kill enough of them.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so many mosquitoes. I hate it. I hope I can get far enough away from water soon, put on a head net, but really it just protects my face. It doesn't protect any other part of me. Instituting Project Mosquito Evasion of the Mosquito Invasion. So I have to pee real bad, but I refuse. I refuse to expose my butt to these monsters. So I'm gonna keep walking until it's an absolute emergency, and then I'll pee. It's so much nicer, I feel like, for men. I bet men, like, as long as you keep walking, they don't really bite you. I bet men could figure out a way of, like, walking sideways and peeing at the same time. I don't have these options. You know how the ancient Greeks had gods for everything, like the god of love and the god of war? Well, I bet the god of insanity was a mosquito. Because it's amazing how quickly a mosquito can literally drive you crazy. Case in point, I intentionally only took 2.5 liters of water, even though we might be dry camping 9 miles away, which is not enough water, because I'd rather not eat dinner than filter another liter of water, because they were destroying me and eating me. Now we might go 11 miles where there's water, so there's a method to the madness, but like literally I choose no food, as in no cooking dinner, over getting eaten by mosquitoes. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. It sends an echo through my soul. How can I keep from singing? It's going to be interesting to see how the camping situation plays out today, because I think for the first time we won't all fit into a campsite. There's a bunch of spots for like 2 or 3, but we are a group of 5 and maybe even 7. There's 2 others that camped near us that I don't know what their plans are. So I don't know. It'll either be a 20-mile or a 22-mile day, and then the next day after that will be either a 20-mile or a 22-mile day, depending on if you went shorter or longer today. We are trying to camp just out of Crater Lake because it seems like there's no good camping at the spot where you can resupply, and also there's no camping allowed at all on the rim trail, which we want to do. So I think what it's going to be is we're going to camp like 5 or 6 miles out from Crater Lake tomorrow, and then do 6 miles in, recharge, eat, shower, etc., and then actually do the whole rim trail that same day. So that's actually going to be my first time where I go in and out of a town on the same day. Like I almost always end up narrowing or something, so that'll be a new experience. The main thing that I'm worried about is making sure that my battery pack gets fully charged, since we'll have like 4 or 5 days after that to get to Shelter Cove Resort. After 6.5 miles of straight hiking without stopping, I finally found a spot where there's just 3 to 5 mosquitoes instead of 40. So I'm gonna sit here, and if I get bit by 3 to 5 mosquitoes, that's okay, because I just need to sit for a little bit. Definitely feels like a mad rush today, and probably for all of the rest of Oregon, but I guess I'll get used to it. Alright, for the first time today we have a view. Yeah, I've been hiking hard today because of the mosquitoes. It's so hard to keep walking because right here there's a breeze, so there's no mosquitoes. So I took a break up here, but gotta walk at some point. Alright, I'm stuck forever. This is too big. So we decided to go to the farther campsite because most of us are low on water because we didn't want to filter it for the mosquitoes. But anyways, it'll be like 22 or 23 miles total for the day, I forget. And yeah, it might be really buggy because it's by a lake, but we do need water to live, I guess. Limbo, limbo, limbo. 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 Ooh, we're getting trickier. Limbo, limbo, limbo. Limbo, limbo, limbo. Limbo, limbo. Oh gosh, limbo. Limbo, limbo, limbo. Did it. Getting even trickier. Limbo, limbo, limbo. 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 Even after just 2 days of forest, ridge walking already feels so novel. And I love it. I love ridge walking. And I love the fact that it's windier out here. And there are far less mosquitoes. Okay. Whoever did this, you're awesome. Because this is definitely looking more like a trail and this is a very sharp curve into nothingness. So I appreciate that. Alrighty. We are actually getting some steep traverses here. With a really steep drop off. And it's very short, but I wouldn't want to fall down it. We'll see what the snow conditions are. I might pull my micro spikes out, but hopefully not. Alright, that actually had the perfect amount of give that I felt confident going over it without micro spikes. Probably shouldn't have done it alone because it does go, you can't really tell. It does go fairly steeply down. But I felt I had enough experience to be able to gauge the snow, and it was like the perfect kind where you have a good amount of traction. I could see that being dangerous in different conditions for the snow, but it wasn't bad at all. Alright, I'm 0.3 away from the lakes. This is pretty eerie with this big old burn area. I'm not scared of mountain lions or anything, but I'm just a little creeped out anyways. I've been waiting for at the junction for a while now where we're supposed to camp. And nobody is here. I'm ahead of them, but I really would have expected them to catch up to me by now. To the point that I'm worried, like, oh no, what if they change their mind and just abandon me? Which, I mean, I can camp alone, but I don't want to be abandoned. I don't know, it's kind of like a creepy area. I really would have thought they would have passed me by now, but hopefully they come soon. They're still not here over 40 minutes later, and they were like right behind me. So at this rate I'm pretty freaked out and honestly kind of upset if they decided to stay beforehand when we talked about camping here. And they didn't send at least one person to camp with me because they know that I don't feel super comfortable camping alone, and this is a shitty place. Sorry, that's a bad language. This is a bad place to be camped by yourself.
You really need to be keeping at least
Ugh. Toilet paper blooms. Gross.
What's that?
There's toilet paper on the floor.
Oh, lovely.
Alright, so I'm not abandoned. Phew. I'm kind of abandoned. People decided to camp early, but Dirty Harry felt bad and he came and he rescued me and he's coming to camp by me because he knew that I wouldn't like it by myself. So I'm very thankful to him. And I do understand, and like, you know, people get tired and stuff, and we were probably gonna have to split up a little bit anyways, because the camping didn't have enough for like 6 people. But like he showed up an hour later. So I was getting pretty freaked out. But I'm very happy that at least there's one other person here. It's not even the solo camping that I have a problem with necessarily. It's just this location is pretty creepy. And it's the unexpected solo camping that I was like not okay with. So everything's fine now. But just look at this, like just dead trees everywhere. Not really the best most scenic place to camp.